administration. And President Ramaphosa further stated that the minister was unaware of, or was aware rather, of this position, and he did not support the conclusion, the conclusion that the PKTT was operating unlawfully. And pretty much you are saying he did not endorse the decision to disband it. And he indicated also that as late as February 2025, the PKTT was still continuing to do its work and had not been formally disbanded. And that was according to his knowledge. So this evidence differs very greatly to what Minister Mchunu told us, because he said that the president had supported his decision. So I'm going to give you an opportunity to respond to that. But not too long, please.
Okay, Honorable Chair members, I can still repeat. The Minister Mchunu was influenced to write that letter by bad people. He must admit. If he doesn't admit before South Africans, he must admit at least to his boss. He was influenced. That which he presented here was trying to justify the actions, but he was influenced.
So we pushed him, because that brings me to the next question. We pushed him on that, and I'm sure you watched his testimony, and he was very clear that it was his own decision, and that he has taken responsibility for it. So do you have any other supporting evidence that he told the committee that it was his decision? So you saying your view is that he was pushed. Besides you having a view, do you have any concrete or evidence that can, or where we can go to get that information that he was pushed?
Well, when you assess the relationship that he has built with these people and the meetings that he's held, Jeremy Sikit at one stage, she writes about how the minister was talking about the border issues and transferring of functions to the BMA. This is Mosikite saying that. I was not in those meetings. So, but when you assess all these activities that were happening, then you cannot help but to reach a conclusion that these three things listed in the letter were not coincidental. They were strategically decided upon on the 31st of December, when the National Commission is on leave, that it must be commissioned like that. The very biggest one for me is that now this thing has come out. Now there's search and seizure of these equipment, these gadgets that they used. Then the minister does not avail himself. The team was sitting at his property at Matlambandov. The team told me that we know he's inside there. Can we jump and go in or break this case? I said, leave him. There's no need for you to break in and go and do anything, because you're going to cause a problem. Eventually later he brought these gadgets. But guess what? They are wiped off. And the team had to then go deeper to wiping, to retrieve this that has been deleted. They uncovered these things that were deleted. So you then ask yourself a question, but why would the minister wipe off information from a state property? What is there to hide? So it is those things, and one of the things I said there, that it was Vusi Pikoli that he communicated with. And we are not seeing to date any communication between him and Vusi Pikoli on the day. What we have is between him and the chief of staff, on record from the downloads that were retrieved. So again, it's the work study documents, the cost factor has been disputed, but the CFO and the investigating work study officers were not invited here, but the National Commission says it was written to him, this work study, not to the minister. The Act does not empower the minister to interfere with the structures of the police, and so forth. So there's so many things been presented here before this ad hoc committee that proves that minister's reasoning that he put in, it was after he's taken a decision, trying to justify. One of them was the president. President has distanced himself. So we can't help but conclude. For me, where I'm sitting, he might have been part of the squad that was doing bad, but I still strongly believe, I give him the benefit of doubt, that the minister was influenced. New in the department, doesn't understand much, like many leaders, they get captured by these members and they make them to do things that they shouldn't do.
So we wouldn't at this stage have access.
General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi has told the ad hoc committee that Police Minister Senzo Mchunu, who is currently on special leave, was allegedly captured and influenced by what he described as bad people to disband the PKTT. The statement was made during proceedings before the committee, where General Mkhwanazi presented his account. According to his testimony, the decision to disband the PKTT did not occur in isolation, but was allegedly shaped by external influence. General Mkhwanazi indicated that the police minister may have acted under pressure. He used the term captured, suggesting that the minister's decision-making process may have been compromised. However, no specific individuals or groups were formally identified in the remarks as those responsible for the alleged influence. At this stage, the claims remain allegations presented to the committee and have not been tested in a court of law. The committee is expected to consider the testimony as part of its broader inquiry. Minister Senzo Mchunu is currently on special leave, a status that places him temporarily away from his official duties. The reasons for his leave were not detailed within the scope of this testimony. No response from the minister regarding the allegations was presented during the session. The PKTT, which is central to the matter, was reportedly disbanded under the minister's authority. General Mkhwanazi's statement suggests that this decision is now under scrutiny, particularly regarding how and why it was taken. The use of the term captured carries significant weight in the South African context, often associated with concerns about undue influence over public officials. However, in this instance, the claim has been raised as part of testimony and remains subject to further examination. Members of the ad hoc committee are expected to assess the credibility and implications of the statement. As with all such proceedings, the committee's role is to gather information, evaluate evidence, and determine whether further action or investigation is required. It is important to note that no formal findings have yet been made regarding the allegations. The process remains ongoing, and all parties mentioned are presumed innocent unless proven otherwise through appropriate legal or investigative channels. General Mkhwanazi's remarks add to the seriousness of the committee's work, highlighting concerns about governance, accountability, and decision-making within law enforcement structures. Further developments are expected as the committee continues its proceedings.